What's up guys, TechFault here. Apple just dropped their new iPads this year, and what makes this iPad so different from any other iPad on the market is the price. In this video, I'm going to tell you if it's worthwhile to pick up the 2017 iPad or not. Before I get started, please subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell icon so you'll always receive a notification when I post a new video. So, let's get right into it. Firstly, for all of those that are confused with how the iPad lineup works, let me simplify it for you. So at current, we have 3 different types of iPads in 2017. The first being the iPad mini, which is a 7.9-inch tablet which is nice and portable for those that are always on the move and want something that's easy to walk around with. Next, we got the normal iPad, which is what I'm reviewing in this video. This iPad is the perfect all-rounder tablet. Great specs, great size, and of course, a very affordable price, coming in at around $329. Lastly, we got the iPad Pros, which is the most powerful hardware, with specs that come close to the Apple MacBooks, a fast superior screen, as well as support for the Apple Pencil and the Apple Keyboard. Now, if you're wondering where does the iPad Air 2 fit into the picture, well, Apple has discontinued the iPad Air line and replaced it with the normal iPad. Each of these iPads have their own size and color variants, which is a choice you'll have to make once you decide which iPad you want to buy. Stick till the end of the video where I'll tell you which iPad is worth it for you. Now back to our iPad. Let's outline all the features this iPad has to offer, and I'll explain each aspect as we go along. The 2017 iPad features a gorgeous 9.7 Retina display, a 64-bit A9 chip, 10 hours of battery life, a rear 8-megapixel camera, and a 1.2-megapixel front camera, a Touch ID fingerprint sensor, and all of this packed into a thin slate that only weighs 469 grams. Starting with the design and the display, the 2017 iPad follows the same design principle as the iPad Air 2, with the newer iPad being a touch thicker. The slight thickness is barely noticeable and doesn't make much of a difference in everyday usage. The back of the iPad has a smooth metal body which is still fairly easy to grip. iPads are some of the best looking tablets you can buy to date, with the rounded corners giving a really nice finish to the tablet. The 2017 iPad is available in gold, silver and grey. And as you can see, I got the gold version here, which is really looking gorgeous. At the bottom of the screen, we got Apple's Touch ID sensor, which will allow you to unlock the tablet with a touch of a finger. Bear in mind that this tablet has the first generation Touch ID sensor opposed to the second generation sensor found on the iPhone 7, which responds way faster. This iPad has a 9.7-inch display with a resolution of 2048 by 1536, giving you a density of 264 pixels per inch. It's a Retina display, which means whatever you view on this tablet will be crispy sharp and clear. I've seen a lot of reviewers complaining that there's a screen gap on this new iPad, which is totally true. But trust me, if you haven't owned an iPad before, you won't even notice it, and it isn't such a big deal in my personal opinion. The screen gets quite bright in comparison to other tablets on the market, giving this iPad a great advantage in the tablet world. For those that are finding the iPad Pro 12.9-inch tablet too big for everyday use, Apple has hit the sweet spot on this tablet, with it being 9.7 inches, which is large enough to view content and convenient to travel around with. So, you might be wondering what's it like to use the 2017 iPad. This iPad runs on iOS 10.3 right out of the box, which is one of the latest software updates from Apple. There should be newer updates by the time you see this video. The one thing I prefer about the iOS ecosystem is that the apps are very well optimized to work with the platform. That means that all the apps are refined and work really smoothly with the device. If you're migrating over from the Android ecosystem, then you'll have no problem adjusting to this tablet, as iOS has a very simplified and intuitive user interface. All the apps you download appear on the home screen, and there's no app drawer to hide your apps away. To neaten up the home screen, all you have to do is organize your apps into folders by dragging one app into another. It's kind of disappointing to see that Apple has excluded the Force Touch functionality from the iPhone 7 on this iPad. I don't think it's a deal breaker though, because there's not much that can be done with it, although it would have been quite nice to have. One thing to keep in mind is, unlike the iPad Pro, The 2017 iPad doesn't support the Apple Pen and keyboard. If you're planning on using those accessories, then unfortunately the iPad Pro is your only option. The multitasking on this iPad is really fantastic. You can have numerous apps open all at the same time without slowdown, which is one aspect where iOS excels in comparison to Android. Now, if you're going to be buying this iPad, you're probably going to be watching movies, listening to music, as well as gaming on it. On the music and video side, you have the iTunes Store that's jam-packed with the latest music and movies available for purchase. There's also the iTunes Computer app that will allow you to transfer existing music and movies that you already have on your computer. I have the 32GB variant right here, but Apple also makes a 128GB version, which is perfect if you're planning to load up your iPad with movies. The speaker setup is similar to the iPad Air 2. They get pretty loud and are perfect for listening to music and watching movies, but aren't as good in terms of quality when compared to the iPad Pro. For the gamers out there, you shouldn't have any problems playing even the most graphic-intensive games on the iStore. As I said earlier, the platform is optimized well and all the games you throw at it should play smoothly. Moving on to the performance aspect of this iPad. The 2017 iPad clocks an A9 chipset, which is the same processor found on the iPhone 6s, which isn't top of the line like the chipsets found on the iPad Pro, but should be able to tear through daily tasks with no problem. This is one aspect where Apple had to limit the performance due to the cheap price. You could go for the iPad Pro, but the performance difference isn't big enough to warrant an upgrade. Now, let's talk about one of the most important aspects of any tablet, the battery life. Apple rates this iPad at 10 hours of usage, which I found to be true when watching movies, listening to music, as well as web browsing. You'll get slightly less screen on time when gaming, but that's to be expected due to more processing power being used. With normal day-to-day usage, this iPad should last you 1.5 to 2 days on a single charge. One downside is this tablet doesn't have fast charging, so it should take around 3 to 4 hours to charge from 0 to 100%. Moving on to the camera of this iPad. When it comes to cameras on tablets, you shouldn't be expecting much, but it's useful to have it for those occasional photos. The 2017 iPad comes with an 8MP rear camera, which is capable of taking decent pictures for social media, but can't replace something like a smartphone in terms of quality. The front camera is a 1.2MP shooter, which isn't up to par, and I can't see anyone using it for more than the odd selfie due to the low resolution. Now that I showed you guys around the new 2017 iPad, the real question is it worth it? If you've never owned an iPad before, or are looking for the most affordable way to get into the iOS ecosystem, then yes, this tablet is definitely worth it. If you have an iPad that's a few years old, I would also recommend you to pick up the 2017 iPad because of the significant specs jump. On the other hand, if you have an iPad Air 2, then I would recommend that you hold off for a bit because there's not much of an upgrade between the two tablets. Lastly, if you're looking for a device to create content like video editing and graphic design, then I would hands down recommend the iPad Pro as it supports the Apple Pen and the Apple keyboard. So, what do you think of the 2017 iPad? Let me know in the comments below. Talking about Apple products, check out my cousin's tech channel called Tech Time. He's pretty new to YouTube, so be sure to subscribe to his channel. Subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you all for watching. So this is TechFul signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.